The year is 1999. After the critical and commercial success of Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures, Warner Brothers is naturally hungry for more, and asked previous director and animator Bruce Timm to create for them another hit Batman show. With this, they add the caveat that they want something with a lighter tone compared to his previous ventures, with dark aesthetics and themes. They want something geared towards a younger audience. Timm and his co-writers say, yeah, we can do that. And so they come up with Batman Beyond, that show with the gritty, cyberpunk art style and mature themes about loneliness and corruption. That show where an elderly Bruce Wayne, most of whom's friends and former partners either don't speak to him due to a falling out or are simply dead. That show where Bruce is forced to recruit a new young Batman because despite all his long hard years of fighting crime in Gotham, breaking down both his body and spirit, ultraviolence and crime in the city is still running rampant? Yeah, that's the one. It's weird, right? When I remember Batman Beyond, I certainly don't remember a show that is particularly kid-friendly. In fact, the first thing that comes to mind is that gripping intro that it had. That certainly didn't feel like it was aimed at kids. I remember it being dark and intense, very different from any other intro I had seen at the time, or since then, really. Intros for cartoons typically play it pretty safe, with lighthearted music and animation that is mostly representative of the show it's made for. But this one is actually quite different, and I really like that. Now, what should a good intro to a show actually do? How's it supposed to make you feel? Well, the answer to that is going to be different for everyone, but I like when they do two things. First, and this may seem obvious, but I want them to entertain me. If I watch a boring intro, I'm probably going to be watching a boring show. So that's an immediate turnoff. Polished animation, a catchy theme song, I want the works when it comes to my cartoons. Secondly, I really enjoy an intro that gives the audience a concise preview of what they're about to see, both in terms of story and atmosphere. And so if the following cartoon is mature and involves some heavy themes, it's especially satisfying to watch an intro that reflects that. The Batman Beyond intro does just that. To illustrate this, let's compare the intro scenes between two shows. Why don't we take a look at Star vs. The Force of Evil? Now I know what you're thinking, these cartoons basically couldn't be more different, at least when it comes to their overall vibe. One embodies a very grim and bleak style, while the other is very clearly aimed towards a young audience, with a lighthearted presence and more of a focus on quirky humor. Naturally, the intro sequences for the show represent that really well. The song is fun and poppy, the animation is very smooth and fluid, and it basically depicts the characters running around and having fun. And that's great. After you watch this, without knowing anything about the show, you're going to be able to materialize in your mind exactly what it's about, or at least what it's going to be like. The same is true for the Batman Beyond intro. We see plenty of classic Batman imagery with a futuristic twist. Watching this sequence again, I also noticed how there isn't really any of the animation style used in the show, save for maybe a few seconds. Instead, the creators opted to use a more stylized artwork that highlights how different the show is going to be from this team's previous works. In some moments, they even use 3D renders of some characters, emphasizing how important the futuristic aspect of the story will be. It's distinct because it's different. The creators go so far as to even intersplice the words representing many of Batman Beyond's core themes between the animations. Greed, corruption, hope, courage. When you watch this intro, there's basically no question as to what kind of story you're about to see. Technology, decay, corporate oppression, and redemption, all these things are huge parts of the narrative, and we see that in the introduction. We see Terry McGinnis transform from a delinquent into the Batman Beyond. We see Batman pursued by crooked cops who've turned their back on the people they sworn to protect, and of course the entire sequence is absolutely saturated by cyberpunk imagery. The wide shots of monolithic Neo-Gotham especially stand out as being incredibly foreboding and claustrophobic, as if the city itself will turn against Batman. All this without even mentioning the incredible musical theme created by Christopher Carter. It's heavy, electronic, and intense all at once, all the while being actually a lot of fun to listen to. I remember hearing this intro as a kid and instantly becoming hyped up to see Batman kick some ass. The visuals in the intro also do the important job of giving us some hints about the story and characters. The creators chose not to outright show us, but instead give us nice and subtle visual hints, which are still very visually intriguing even if you're watching the show for the first, second, or even 10th time. We see Terry in front of a graveyard, hinting at his father's death and his own transformation into the Batman. We also get some cool visual cues that hint at Terry's future nemesis, like the Royal Flush Gang, Ink, and Blight. And one of the most prominent visual themes they showcase in the opening sequence is that Batman is closed in on all sides in this show. Terry is constantly running, hiding, jumping, and fleeing. Neo-Gotham is like a prison or an asylum, and this time, Batman is the inmate. He's on the run from the police and the villains. Not only that, but he also has to deal with the stress of familial and romantic drama. These visuals really give you the idea that Terry's life is a ticking time bomb of catastrophic proportions. Everyone knows a great cartoon is preceded by a great intro, one that signals to the audience what the tone and themes of the show will be, and considering that the main demographic that cartoons are marketed towards are children, this is especially important. They have to make strong impressions early on impressionable young minds. Ironically enough, when Batman Beyond first aired, the general public was generally confused. No one had asked for this show. No one expected a futuristic Batman show that wasn't even centered upon Bruce Wayne. Despite that, Batman Beyond has grown into a much beloved classic, due in no small part to a great intro that drew in me and many others all those years ago. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Reggie from the future. How's it going? If you like this video, consider subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. If you are subscribed, expect more videos and activity on the channel in the next couple months. Thanks.